What would you do if a track that you've always dreamed of riding, a place that you've watched countless times on Formula One broadcast, a track that hosts MotoGP every single year, literally the best riders on the planet, and it just goes private? And once it does, it's locked away forever. But what if an opportunity came along that would get me on that same track before it goes private? This is that story. Here's the thing, guys. This trip almost didn't even happen. I've got a 16-month baby at home, and before this trip, I was about to launch what was literally the biggest project I've ever had in my entire time here on YouTube, which was my Motovlog Mastery course, and it was going to be launching 3 days after I would have gotten back from this trip. The timing literally made no sense for me to leave town when this offer came in. But when I found out that COTA was going to be going private and that 2026 is going to be the last year that a regular person like you and me can ride a motorcycle on that track, I knew that if I didn't go now, I may never get to ride a bike on this track again. So, despite it being literally the worst timing ever, I decided I had to go and I had to take advantage of this opportunity, and the 2 days I would have on that track were nothing that I could have expected. So I should probably explain what makes this track so special. So Circuit of the Americas was actually opened in 2012 right outside of Austin, Texas, and this track was designed for Formula One, and you can tell that the second you step into this facility. The layout actually pulls from some of the most iconic corners in motorsport. Turn 1 is actually modeled after Raidillon at Spa, and the S's in sectors 2 and 3 take inspiration from freaking Suzuka. This is genuinely a world-class facility. And up until now, it's been open for public track days. That means regular riders, track day dudes, and just enthusiasts can all buy a ticket and go attend a track day and ride on a track that hosts Formula One and MotoGP. But when COTA goes private, that is what goes away. So apparently the track chairman has said that he wants COTA to become the Augusta Nationals of motorsport. That means members only, and apparently they're gonna cap the memberships at only 250. That's probably gonna be the most expensive motorsports club in the world, and once that happens, the doors are locked for the rest of us. Now, I've been a big Formula One fan for about 7 years now, and to me, COTA's not just a great track, it's about the closest thing to hallowed ground that American motorsports has, and I almost let this opportunity go by. So the question is, how did I get there? Aprilia actually reached out and invited me to one of their racer days that was going to be happening the Monday and Tuesday directly after MotoGP at Circuit of the Americas. Now, if you guys have never heard of an Aprilia racer day, it's just like a regular track day that anybody can just buy tickets to. The only difference is when you show up to this track day, Aprilia is also there with their entire suite of motorcycles. You're talking RSV4 factories all the way down to their Tuono V4. They bring everything, and you get to take it out on track and ride it. Now, for this one specifically, Aprilia also invited a lot of media and creators, and that's how I got the invite. And honestly, had I not got this invite, this whole trip wouldn't even have been a thing. So I'm looking at this trip thinking, I get to go to my first MotoGP event ever, and directly after that, I get to get on the track that those guys were just racing on, and I get to do a track day on a bike I don't own? Yeah, that is an absolute no-brainer. Now, you guys have probably already seen how the MotoGP event went, and if you haven't, I'll put a link for that video in the description down below. But here's what happened when Monday morning rolled around. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this experience did not start off right, and my problems on Monday started before I even threw a leg over a motorcycle. You see, COTA is such a big deal in the motorsport space that a ton of media and content creators wanted to come to this event. Most of those were actually people that are only gonna be there on Monday. It was a 2-day event. I was one of the very few content creators that were actually going to be there on Monday and Tuesday. Because I was going to be there for that second day, I ended up getting at the bottom part of the list because all the other people only had one day to experience these Aprilia motorcycles. So I came into this track experience really wanting to do a track-focused review with the RS-V4 factory. I figured that is Aprilia's best motorcycle. I'm at the best track in America. It's a match made in heaven. That bike, gone. Okay, well what about the Tuono V4? It's basically the same engine, just in a naked platform. Surely nobody would want to take that bike around COTA, right? Nope. Okay. What about the RS660 factory? Still an absolutely sick motorcycle. Yep, those are gone too. Okay, you know what? This is gonna actually work out better than I even expected. Let's do the Tuono 660 factory. I'm in love with that motorcycle. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this. Sadly, that one is also taken. So I continued to tumble down the entire Aprilia lineup until there was only one motorcycle left for me to go out and ride. That was the Aprilia RS457. I had flown into this event with literally just my track gear and my cameras so I could make my videos, so I had literally no other options. All that being said, me and the RS457 started to become very well acquainted. Now, I'm going to have a full track review of the RS457 coming out tomorrow, so I'm going to save all of my opinions for that video, but what I can tell you guys here is throughout the entire day, I never really connected with that motorcycle. I never got comfortable, I couldn't build my confidence, and at the end of the day, I really just didn't feel like I was getting out of COTA what I was wanting. The issue is that all of those problems were not the fault of the motorcycle. See, on the third lap around COTA, this happened.
Oh, that was scary. I just held a bike up on my knee. So that was a first.
That was my third lap of the entire track. The third lap that these tires had seen all day. On top of that, I was in the novice group, meaning we were not going anywhere near fast enough to build up temperature in these tires. You mix all that with a fresh track and slightly overinflated tires, and when I came into turn one on that third lap, the front just totally washed out on me. Had I not had my knee out and been on a lighter motorcycle that I could actually hold up on my knee, I would have low-sided that motorcycle, no question. Now, I caught it, but it shook me a lot. Now, I went back out for the rest of the day, session after session, and I could just never get my confidence back. Every corner, I kept second-guessing myself, never pushing and never just settling into the motorcycle. Honestly, I just felt like I was just trying to survive every lap. I even got to do a session on Jake from Spite's Corner's Super Duke, and when I went out on his bike, I could tell that my confidence was decimated. Now, this might sound ridiculous, but there was a moment while I was out on the track with the Super Duke that I almost had like an out-of-body experience, and I'm sitting there watching how I'm riding around this amazing track all softly and timidly, thinking, bro, who is this? Because this is not how you ride. By the last session of the day, a ton of the media people and the other creators were kind of done riding, and I actually got an opportunity to ride an RS-V4 on the track. And even then, the bike I had come here to ride on the track I wanted to ride it on, even then, I felt an issue connecting with the motorcycle and the track. Monday night at the hotel room, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was pretty let down. Not like disappointed, but I had moved mountains to make this trip happen, and I was here at COTA trying to do that, and I knew that the next afternoon I was flying home, and I was worried that I had done all of this work and I just was not going to leave with the experience that I was really wanting. Now, that's kind of a rough place to be, especially when you factor in that the clock is ticking on you ever getting to experience this track again. Now, I went on to sleep Monday night, not really knowing what was going to end up happening on Tuesday, but I knew one thing, and that was that I had one more shot to get the experience out of this track that I wanted. Now, Tuesday at the track felt different from the jump. Most of the media had only been there for Monday, so the whole place felt thinned out. And when I showed up that morning, Aprilia had 2 Tuono V4s set aside for us for basically the entire day. The reason we had 2 Tuono V4s is because we had lined up doing a head-to-head challenge between me and Jake from Spike's Corner, so we needed 2 of the Tuono V4s, and we were gonna do that later that morning. So my job Monday morning was to shake off whatever the hell happened on Monday, get my head right, and make sure I leave this track with the experience I wanted. My first session was 8:40 a.m. in the novice group on the Tuono V4. From the first lap on this Tuono V4, something clicked.
God dog, man. What an experience to have.
Now, I don't know if it was the yellow on the Tuono reminded me of the gold on my MT10, or maybe it was the fact that I was just on another big naked and something about that felt familiar, but I connected with that Tuono immediately in a way that no riding on Monday had even come close to. It honestly felt like home on that motorcycle, and I know how that sounds, but I have no other way of describing it. I started going out in every novice group and every intermediate group, and session after session, I got a little bit faster, I got a little more comfortable, I got a little bit more myself. All that confidence that Monday had just drained out of me kept coming back little by little, lap after lap. And then it was time for Jake and I's head-to-head. For anyone that hasn't seen Spike's Corner, Jake is no joke on the track, and he lives in Austin. This is his home track. He told me that he has logged over 1,000 miles at COTA alone. Before Sunday, I had never been on this track at all. Now, we were both on bikes that neither of us had ridden before, but the playing field ended there. Now, I'm gonna keep the results of what happened in our head-to-head for its own video because, bro, that battle absolutely deserves it. What I will say is after that session when I came off the track for the last time, something had shifted. I felt in a way that I hadn't felt the entire time I was at COTA. Now, directly after our head-to-head session, because of timing, I had to leave quickly so I could catch my plane out of Austin. So I ended up saying my goodbyes to everybody, packing up my gear, throwing it in the truck, and we had to head to the airport. I actually remember when we were leaving the track, and obviously COTA's huge, right? So you have to like take a lot of road to like get out of the track. And we were leaving and I'm sitting there staring at the giant Texas flag that COTA has sitting there flying. And I literally said out loud, thanks COTA. I feel like I got the experience that I wanted. And it kind of felt emotional. A lot of stuff had to go into this. And at the end of the day, after all of said and done, I probably got an hour of really good track time in on the Tuono on COTA. And somehow spending only an hour of just really getting to enjoy the bike, the track, the weather, just everything, that hour made everything worth it. And I was able to leave that track feeling like I got what I came for. Because of that, I can actually sit here and tell you guys that I got to ride COTA before it goes private, and I feel good about that. You know, when I first started riding motorcycles, it wasn't really easy to make that decision happen. For a long time, circumstances just weren't right for whatever reason. And then sometime while I was in college, I just decided that I'm done waiting. I got a job for the sole reason of saving up for a motorcycle, bought that motorcycle, and never looked back. Going to COTA somehow felt like the same thing. I saw a brief window, I knew that opportunity was not gonna be there forever, I made a call and I went for it. Now, Monday had me questioning that call, but Tuesday reminded me why you show up anyway. So COTA is going private in 2027, and if you're on the fence about whether or not you should go, I hope this video is the thing that gets you off of it. Go before that happens, the trip will be worth it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably curious, that head-to-head video with Jake is going to be coming out soon, along with that Aprilia RS457 track review. What I'll do is I'll put links in the description when those videos are live, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.